Are soap shops still relevant in 2023? Will people buy from a small handmade business over a big box store if we hit a recession again? Let's hop into the good and bad news of it. Okay, so right off the break, the good news is that yes, soap shops will still be relevant in 2023 and moving forward for many, many years to come. You as a handmade business owner, a small soap shop maker, are in a great position because your type of audience doesn't really need convincing to buy your product. They want a handmade experience. They want something that's a little bit smaller batch, more care and attention is put into the details. So they are automatically coming to buy from you. But the bad news is that in order to survive, you really need to make yourself stand out, especially if we hit the forecasted recession. Now, with that question out of the way, how does a beginning soap maker help themselves stand out? Beginning soap makers really face a very specific set of challenges when it comes to starting off and especially standing out in the soap making world. I have been in many situations where I felt like I was not going to be able to overcome the challenges of a beginning soap maker, and that's why I'm making this video. Whether you are a veteran soap maker or a first day beginner, I really think that you will find value from this video. We're going through and naming some of the challenges that I particularly have been through and how I overcame them. At the top of every handmade soap maker's mind, I know it, if you are a beginner, you are absolutely going to be in this boat, and that is everyone else's soap looks beautiful and yours looks like garbage. I have talked in probably at minimum 5 videos about this at this point. I, in the beginning, was very discouraged. My inability to make cold processed soaps, and if you've seen this video here, I talked about it at length. Now, the flip side to that is, though I was failing at cold process soap making, I really found a knack in making melt and pour soap, which came with its own challenge in that people were pretty harsh and vocal in a non-helpful / rude way that melt and pour soap is not actually soap making. And while I don't agree with that at all, which neither should you, you're still making soap. You're just using something to help you get to the end product while you're learning. Okay, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you decide to do melt and pour from the day that you open to, your retirement, then you should do that. You will, however, have to overcome the challenge of people, kind of belittling the choices that you have made for your business. Even if you're just over here, doing your own thing. It's tough, it's very tough in the beginning. You really should do is take a minute and practice your technique. I know in the beginning that testing product seems like a waste, especially if you are on somewhat of a smaller budget, but you absolutely need to do it for several reasons. But first and foremost, it is to practice your skill. All of those people that you see making those beautiful soaps did not start today or last week. They are years and years into the craft. So another thing that will hit you like a ton of bricks, especially if you are very squirrel-esque like myself, is that you have so many ideas you don't know where to start. The problem with this is, first of all, it creates a lot of clutter and you spend a lot of money doing it this way, which is great if you have that, right? But if you don't, if you're really trying to stick to a strict tight budget, then this is a terrible challenge for you. Ideas come in the form of product categories that you want to offer, design, the aesthetic of your entire brand. There are so many different ways that having too many ideas can negatively affect you. Actually, let's preface this with the example of products. You have too many product ideas and don't know where to start, okay? What you need to do is list everything out on a good old paper pencil. You could also use a spreadsheet, but I prefer, I always have my little notebooks, and this one's, I got a new notebook that I am excited to use because this one's really falling apart. But anywho, you need to write everything down in a notebook, and then you need to sit down and choose what categories are going to be your main categories and what categories are going to be your secondary categories. If you think of it like art, right? You have like your primary colors and then your secondary colors. You need to do the same thing and have primary categories and secondary categories. Those primary categories are going to be your things like your core line, whether it's a core line of soap and a core line of bath soaks or bath bombs, whatever the case is, right? You're gonna have your core line, your signatures, non-holiday items, everything that you plan to offer from day one to the day of retirement. Those are all going to be your primary categories. And then your secondary categories would be, you know, like special collections. You gotta write all those down, figure out which ones are primary, which ones are secondary, and then which one is going to bring your brand the most attention. Also, I think I may have lost my train of thought when I started talking about the secondary categories. Secondary categories would be like your holiday items, your themed collections, or supporting. There it was. I knew I had started it, but I knew I didn't finish it. So your supportive products, holiday lines, and specialized categories like themes and stuff like that. This is currently happening to me as I am rebranding. If you saw this video that I posted here, there has been a lot going on behind the scenes with me and my brand, and something that I've really had to stop doing is trying to find new things to create and instead refine what I already have and like build it up even more. So I know in my main line I want to offer soap, candles, and bath soaks, but I was like, man, it would be great if I had something like chapstick. Like, I just think chapstick would be so cool to offer, and eventually I want to offer that, but like, I don't know how to make chapstick. I've never made chapstick, or like lip balms, you know, whatever you want to call them. Like, I've never made that before. I've never done it. I need to not add something brand new right now. I need to stay focused and refine what I already have. This is one that is very relatable, I guess I would say. And that is, you've made your plan, but your budget doesn't match the plan. It's a very personal thing, as everyone's business budget is different. So I don't want to like dive too much into specifics on budget, but what I will say is the way that I have overcome the plan not matching my budget is just cutting out extra things for the time being. Like, for example, the lip balms, buying all of this packaging that I want to redo. You know, it's just, gosh, adding extra ingredients when I already have half full bottles of ingredients that I've used before. And this really does tie directly in with the last challenge that we talked about, because you know, the more that you're squirreling, the more money you're going to spend. So really, once you like rein it in, honey, rein it in. Okay, the less or the more focused you are on what you're doing and your plan, the better off you will be in your budget. And I know that doesn't always mean that they will align, but at the very least, you can take a good look at the things that you have in your plan and say, you know what, this entire subset is going to add an extra couple $100s to my budget, and I just don't have that right now. So I'm just going to take that whole set of things off, which will help you focus in. They go hand in hand. So not the funnest one, but I mean, at least, right? It's something at least. I don't know if this is a room challenges or if this is like one of those creepy carnival fun houses where everywhere you turn it's like a new like you know, that's kind of how it feels. That's exactly how it feels. But anyway, the elephant in the room, that is social media. Unfortunately, to stay relevant, become recession proof, build your business, and attract customers, you have to be somewhere on social media. I have tried, you know, all of them at this point. The only one I never tried at all was Snapchat. It just doesn't, and Twitter. I don't like Twitter either. Those ones aside, I have worked on a TikTok, my YouTube channel, and Instagram. And here's what I have found, right? The challenge is you don't want to be on social media, but you know you have to. the way to overcome that is to really think about what you want to get out of your social media, and that will help guide you to which platform you should focus on. Let's chat about TikTok for a minute. Everybody says you need to be on TikTok. Every small business is on TikTok. TikTok this, that, this, that, this, that, and the other thing, okay? Here's my experience with TikTok. If you are not an extremely aesthetically pleasing brand with the trendiest of products, it's likely that you will not find the success that you're looking for on that platform. TikTok is very trends-based, it is very aesthetic, but also the customers on TikTok, or the people on TikTok, are not necessarily loyal, because you don't have to follow a person to see their content, right? If you watch someone on TikTok but you don't follow them, you'll eventually see them again. When you're growing your TikTok, it's easy to get those people to click on your website. You just have to show, something aesthetic or something trendy or something like the next big thing, right? So it's not necessarily hard per se to get them to come to your website, but it is very hard to get them to purchase once they are there. So I would say, if you're choosing TikTok as your platform to grow on, just know that you have to have something that immediately catches their attention, both on the TikTok and on your website, to convert to an actual sale. Instagram, my thoughts on Instagram. So I have grown in Instagram before, but it was not for a soap made business. It was for a secondhand clothes based business. And here's what I'll tell you. My experience, and solely from that, I have found that Instagram is a platform full of people who want to follow along and learn more about a person, not a brand. I find that I think you would be so much more successful on Instagram if you were growing a person-based business instead of a brand. So for example, if I wanted to start an Instagram right now, which I really don't, to be honest, I really don't. If I were to start an Instagram right now, I would not start it as my soap shop. I would start it as myself selling soaps, if that makes sense. It took about 13 months of posting 3 times a day, like consistently on Instagram, for me to start seeing traction on that account. And let me also say, that was before Reels were a thing, so I don't know how Reels would affect things. I'm sure that probably makes it easier, but the people were interested in me and what I was doing for my business, not my business as a business. My good old buddy YouTube. Yeah, YouTube, I would say, is where it's at right now. YouTube Shorts have helped me dramatically grow my channel. I actually filmed a video about this, but I never posted it. So if you want to see kind of my results on YouTube Shorts consistently twice a day for 3 months, let me know. I filmed it a while back, but I actually spent the summer doing the experiment on it, and then I filmed the video, but I got so distracted by other things that I never ended up posting it. So I do have it. If you're interested in seeing that, you can just let me know and I'll figure out how I can fit it into my schedule. But YouTube, I would say, is an excellent option for you. And just, that's all I'm gonna say on that. But just overall, as an all-encompassing statement, yes, you need a social media to stay relevant in 2023, but you need to decide and dedicate yourself to whichever platform has your best business interest in mind. You know what I'm saying? But again, if you want a detailed video on all of that stuff, I can do that. Just let me know. Anyway, this video has been long enough. Please subscribe if you are still here, and I hope you got some value out of this video. Yes, you can be relevant in 2023 and beyond and become recession proof if you follow and overcome all of the challenges that I have. Yes, you can remain relevant in 2023 and recession proof as long as you overcome these challenges with the utmost grace. So I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you next week.